Tere! Mati.
Ahoi. Tere, Margus.
Mikrofonid hakkasid tööle.
Let's keep it in English. So, first of all, a little introduction about you. We are talking about cloud and DC, so if you don't know what I'm talking about here, it's like the different platforms. If you host your own servers and stuff, you are like in data center platform. But if you're in cloud, Atlassian does it for you. So can you raise your hand if you don't know which platform you are using? Everyone knows or doesn't want to say.
Who is using data center? Cool, yeah. Thank you.
Yeah.
Like half, at least.
And cloud, just to see if it's half or more. It's kind of like 50-50, or like, yeah. Okay.
Maybe the 10 or 15% just doesn't use Jira at all, or Confluence. Maybe they're kind of lost. Wrong place.
But let's start with you, Margus, then. Can you talk a bit about yourself? What do you do, who you are? What is your relationship with Atlassian products?
Well, we can start with the relationship with Atlassian. It's too long, I think, already. Not that I'm going to stop, but still, I think since 2005 or 6 we started using Jira, then been consultant, and now today here I'm representing the marketplace partner side on this discussion. So if somebody doesn't know yet, then there are quite many app developers in Estonia, actually. So if you saw already the Refined and all the other apps on stage, then you know that we are building some stuff here in Estonia as well.
Yes, we have many marketplace vendors in Tallinn, in Estonia. It's a great thing. So let's continue with Kaur.
Hi, I should know most of you probably by email. But yeah, in case we haven't seen in real life, I'm Kaur. I'm responsible for license sales in Trinidad Wiseman. And I'm one of the founders of the Trinidad Wiseman Atlassian team in 2013. And together with Ander, we started this whole thing. So I'm glad to see so many of you here. I never could have imagined that it would be so popular.
We have grown. It's like a large event now. Yeah, we're very proud.
Yep.
That's it? Okay. And Mati, you can share something about you.
Hello, everyone. I've been working with Atlassian products, I guess, for the last 10 years. That includes also a little stint with Trello, which is now also part of Atlassian. Mainly on the operational side and how to keep it working for my colleagues and how to make it a good product as much as possible. I have to admit that today, after I don't know, 6 years, something like that, I saw Kaur physically first time ever today. So that was a surprise for me. I have a gazillion of emails, but I haven't seen him in my life. And I've been working also with all kind of service management applications from other vendors, but here I am in Atlassian conference.
And your experience comes mainly from the banking industry?
Yeah, from the data center solution is banking and also how to set it up in the best possible ways considering all the regulations. On the cloud side, I've been consulting a couple of companies, how to set it up, how to get started with Jira, most likely, before Confluence, because I'm not good at documentation and collaboration on that side. And yeah, banking. Now also, in some sense, which is new for me, is the Ops Genie. So yeah, basically the whole family.
Great. So, Kaur, can you tell us how did you find Atlassian? Why did you bring it to Estonia? What was the idea? How did you find it?
Actually, there is a customer sitting inside the crowd. Maybe some of you have heard about this organization called SMIT, which is the Ministry of Interior IT department. And they were brave enough to start implementing Jira Service Desk 1.0 in 2013. So yeah, it was a huge project. I think Andrus can correct me if I'm wrong, but it took us 1.5 years from proof of concept to the live. I guess it was more than 1 year or almost 2 years. So yeah, and I don't know why after that it went live, people started, asking about what is Atlassian, can you maybe tell us more? I said, I don't know, why do you want this? It's heavily buggy and it's monstrous.
Back then, I guess only software companies used Atlassian.
Yes, and really like rebel software companies, not the traditional ones. So yeah, Estonia is a bit strange in a way. It's a heretic, like trying to push the new solutions before everybody else. So imagine like Ministry of Interior of Germany testing out new stuff like which nobody has tried before. I don't know if it's going to happen ever.
Emails today.
Emails today, yeah. Paper yesterday.
Yes.
I guess Kaur forgot to tell the main reason why he was starting to implement. He was poor and he needed money.
Sure, that was one part of the deal as well. I had just recently returned from a job in South Africa which involved wine farming. And I had been in the ops side of things for, I think, 20 years. So I kind of was looking for a new direction. And Trinidad Wiseman was also, I think we were 15 people by then. So they were looking for new products and ventures to try out, and all came together. So here we are.
Okay, and Margus, currently you are the CTO of SoftComply, Atlassian Marketplace partner. How did you find your way to start developing marketplace apps, and what was your experience before that? Okay, this you probably said before.
Well, yeah, I've been a user, been a consultant, so everything has been around Atlassian most of my kind of like professional career. But then, yeah, one thing led to another, and then we decided to start building an app because we saw that there's a small market kind of like gap. And if you're operating with customers every day, then you see like what is missing, what is not. Then you meet people who has some wild ideas, and then okay, yeah, let's do it. So yeah. The story is much longer, but actually the end goal was actually much bigger what we kind of are doing right now. And in a minute I told it, okay, it's never possible. Back then it wasn't possible. Right now with all the AIs and yeah, you can do anything. But yeah, we just took a small kind of like piece of the problem, what we saw that was missing on Atlassian platform, and implemented it. And then it started to roll. And now we have lots of apps. We are in risk management, document management. Yeah.
This was actually my next question, that you can briefly introduce the add-ons you offer and whether they are for Cloud DC or both.
It's for both. Yeah, that's how you are actually in this world. If you have both platforms, then you have customers also everywhere. And the problems are in most cases on both platforms. But yeah, our main kind of market is regulated domains. So it means health techs, med techs, automotives, every kind of industry where you need to create safety critical or safe systems. So it is kind of like a must-have app. So if we're talking about document management, then you have really strict regulations how you should do it. And if there isn't any apps and there is Confluence, then you see it, like there's a gap, and we built something to leverage this thing. And then the risk management is also part of our portfolio because everything is now around risks.
Yeah, great. I would like the audience to also ask questions from the Q&A, or just raise your hand if you want to ask anything. Maybe now, after we have met the people in the panel. Any questions? Let me check the Q&A also. I think we don't have anything here at the moment.
Well, anybody can just raise a hand.
Yes, if anybody wants to, or I just continue with my questions.
They all know what you're speaking about.
Mm-hmm. Okay, but Mati, what are the main processes that the banking industry solves with Atlassian products?
Based on my experience, you name it, they have it. So first of all, Jira as a software, Jira as a service management, Confluence, Opsgenie, definitely. The product which I've been investigating lately is the discovery. Mainly, as you know, when you have people in-house who wants to have all kind of processes and these kind of things to say, and then 10 people are coming and they have 20 different solutions. And then you just think whom to please. But you can't be like a 500 euro, so you can't please everyone. For me, for the last 8 years, mostly it's been a Jira software, Jira service desk, and Confluence. So this guy knows exactly what we use, how we use, what kind of plugins we have. And Opsgenie is totally new for me. I see a lot of potentials if I get to know about what is this exactly. And yeah, it's been the main thing of not like having something in-house or just working with is how to get everybody else to collaborate. Because people are still, there is a under the table shadow world where lots of things are happening. So sometimes people are afraid, or you've done the setup or implementation so difficult, so they don't want to participate it. So luckily these products are so easily customizable, and the more year goes on, the more automated as well, which is actually one of the pros of Atlassian products.
Okay, I have heard that you have migrated from DC to cloud back and forth, and so you have experienced some migrating.
Yeah.
Can you share a bit about the reasons why you have considered one or another?
Yeah, reason is pretty simple. I went to work one day, I don't know, 8 years ago, as always, morning, and it turned out that Trello was shut down and somebody has been implementing Cloud Atlassian. I said like, yay, we're going to use that one now. And then this person left, and then it was what are we going to do with it? Are we going to, again, shut it down and find something else? But then we sticked it, and we used a couple of years cloud version. And as a fully FSA regulated bank, we had lots of questions. First, we had to ask these questions ourselves, and then also the regulator. In a meaning, where is your data? How are you managing your data? Do you know who is hosting your data? Is it possible for you to take the data with you? Is it possible to take the data with you offsite? Is it possible for you to, I don't know, back up everything into one big suitcase and then just bury it under 6 feet? And also, we faced in a year of 2017 also the performance issues, because we were using pretty heavily Confluence. Then it was the decision to use Confluence as the absolute source of truth for the documentation. So then it was, if it's not in Confluence, then it doesn't exist. And then in one happy, shiny day, we had an idea, let's host it ourselves. Of course, I was working then for Inbank, and Inbank was the first fully licensed bank in Estonia that had 100% all their infrastructure in AWS. So, where are you going to put it? You don't have any server room or physical pizza boxes or whatsoever. And this is now the tip for everybody who's new to all kinds of things. And in Atlassian, please make the evaluation. And for God's sake, go cloud. And then stay there. The reason, and then we were doing a couple of the calculations. We saw how many is the data that we have. How big is the data actually? And it was surprisingly big amount of data. So then we were poor, we didn't have money, and $20 is a $20. So we asked our nice and shiny partner, Zone Media, to provide us bare-bone hardware server running on Virtuoso, a dedicated server in Amsterdam. They made all the restrictions, accesses whatsoever, and then we put it up 3 servers, Jira, Confluence, and database. So that worked perfectly. We got basically everything what we wanted. Migration was smooth. Only thing, as you know, linking. All the links are broken. So that is collateral damage, and that took, I don't know, 4 years, 5 years to fix.
Of clicking?
Yeah.
Manual?
Or 50, yeah, I don't know. And then suddenly it came up that was actually a really good decision, because then we acquired one company in Lithuania, and they also had a cloud Atlassian. So we already knew how to migrate their data into our solution. So that was done pretty smoothly. And to keep these kind of things separately, we had a separate for Jira, totally different URL, Confluence, and database behind them. And that allowed us to create a situation when none of them are depending on each other. When one is down, the second is working. Of course, the linking between all of them doesn't work. And the database server is somewhere just one behind. I don't know, the migration into the AWS, will it come later on as a topic? Or?
I don't have like a different topic for that specifically. You
can share it now
good. If you want.
So now in 2023, now other question. Who has the like lots of you have lots of self-hosted data center whatsoever, whenever. How many of you got hit by the 2019 vulnerability and 2023 vulnerability? Like, honest opinion. If your Atlassian was publicly accessible. None? Okay. Then the people that I know, and there are more than 10, there are actually lots of them. So we got hit by both of them. Luckily, there were no data leak. We were just having destroyed the web server as such, and it was so smooth that we had scheduled the quick fix at 2 o'clock at night, and 1:52 they took down everything. So that was well planned. And then in one moment we were thinking it's already, it doesn't fit us anymore, the solution. Because when you want to upgrade your own hosted solution, then the upgrade is pain. You need to do the backup, you need to set up something virtual, you need to do this or you need to do that. And most of all, if you have a database server, then it's a total cock-up. So Postgres is running, I don't know what version, 15, 16? And then in some moment you're realizing that you're running your Atlassian database on a version 9. So horrible news. And as we're running on AWS, who's running Atlassian in Kubernetes? No? Okay. And then we were making calculations. And, you know, in a year of 2024 or 23, there's actually not much price difference of keeping it yourself hosted or somebody else in some data center on their servers. So it costs exactly the same to run it in AWS with the same spec as your hardware. So our lovely infra team made a test instance in Kubernetes, setting it up, making everything dummy, testing it up, migrated first Jira, then migrated the database, and then migrated Confluence. Confluence was, of course, the hardest because of, you know, data and attachments. And I have to say that just immediately after the migration, which was smooth, no cock-ups or whatsoever anymore, there was a new LTS coming out to fix some critical things. And you know how long it took to install the new version? The new version installation took 22 minutes. So that's a huge improvement. Yep.
What about the regulators' questions about where is your data hosted?
Exactly. Now I'm going to answer that one later as well. So, and then for the database in AWS, you're going to put it into RDS. Version upgrade in RDS is like, we have it. So instead of working 5 days, testing, asking provider, you're just going to do it immediately. Answering now the question about the regulator is that we have set up in Inbank everything in European locations. So, and that is audited every single time when there is on-site. And that is the like hard line, to have everything in Europe. Like, as you all know, it's either Ireland or Frankfurt, Ireland or Stockholm. I don't know if Stockholm has implemented now all the features or not, but yeah, this is what it is. And yeah, also the same thing. If you're growing, then you're just putting with a bigger hammer. More memory, more processor, more disk, just go. And a backup which ran previously approximately 6.5 hours. In Kubernetes, yep. Stated data, S3. Also elastic database, RDS snaps. Also, if you want to have a dump, S3. So you can restore everything like on the fly, on demand, much quicker. So instead of like 13 hours of downtime, you just maybe have a downtime 2 hours. So that is the experience. And if to add there also that everything data is in our hands, then yeah, this is the one. So we are in cloud anyway.
I did receive some questions through the Q&A, so I will just take them in between. I know that Margus and Kaur hasn't talked in a while, but I will ask one more question from Matti. So one question is that I have seen banks using Atlassian Cloud. What is your opinion on that?
Well, you're welcome. If we are going into the topic which is called trust.
Yes.
So basically the thing is, you need to have the self-evaluation, or banking. They do have a mandatory thingy. It's called risk appetite assessment. You need to assess the risks. How big is the assessment? Do you trust? When you're asking the questions, of course, from Atlassian you can't ask like, what is your data tenancy policy? What is the encryption? Like, please give me some sort of white paper or proof whatsoever. If you're in cloud, you have done everything that you can on the access policy, AIM, everything that is in your hand, like multiple authentication layers whatsoever. For God's sake, if it's working, everybody's happy, of course. So basically also, like, as I said, the regulators doesn't tell you how to do the things. The regulators ask you the questions. Have you considered all the risks? And now this is the question. Do you trust your provider? If you don't trust the provider, do it yourself or get another solution.
Thank you. But two more questions from the audience is, you can all answer, but let's see who wants to answer, who feels confident. What do you see as a main value of cloud compared to DC?
I guess this is for Martin and
Margus.
and Kaur.
Margus and Kaur,
sorry.
yes.
Margus and Kaur.
No worries.
Yeah.
Well, from my side, definitely is that you don't need to take care of hosting and maintaining it. You can stick to your core business. So that's where the main value is, definitely. You just do what you're doing best and let the other guys handle all the security, all the upgrades, everything. It's kind of like a pain. If Matti told that, yeah, the cost of running in their case was roughly the same. They had the skills, they had the knowledge. All is good. Do it how you like. But if you don't know what to do and how, then just leave the pros handle something.
Yes.
Yeah, it depends on the size of the organization. For example, if we're speaking about organization, I don't know, 20, 50, 100 people, also, you don't have the resource in-house. If we're speaking about the 400, 500, 600, 700, you definitely have a huge infrastructure team. You also have dedicated specialists handling or administrating something. What I want to say, the main benefit of having the cloud are the features. So basically, you have nice and shiny, rounded, designed, everything is colorful whatsoever. Getting that into data center is a bit tough. Do we really need it?
So yeah, just a side note, but so when I was working in Skype, and yeah, then there was a whole team who was taking care of Atlassian new releases. So the release cycle was 6 months. So if you were kind of like, the whole team was working just to do the upgrade. There were so many manual things, so many custom apps that you need to kind of also upgrade. So in cloud, you just wake up and you have your new shiny red button. In server, in some cases, you might wait maybe a year, maybe 2, and then you get to this point. So yeah, the features is really good side of the cloud, for sure.
Totally.
As a partner, I must say we are using both. So, but historical reasons, our live is on DC still, because we have multiple integrations, which just is a pain to convert to cloud, and we will do it one day, but one day. But I would argue against Matti's point of size, because we have multiple unicorns, as you might know. Also, one of them is Financial, who is on, I think, 9,000 level today, and they don't have, I think, this old school organized planned IT team. They have totally, like agile approach, and I think it more depends, cloud versus DC, in what type of business you are. If you are a unicorn growing by 1,000 users per year, having a DC customized would be a mayhem for you. But,
totally agree, and it all depends on the point where you started to build up your this ecosystem. Totally.
Yep, and it's fastly scalable. Unicorns are very good and successful at cloud. On the contrary, if you are public sector institutions like Ministry of Defense, I wouldn't probably recommend it.
The next question that we had on the Q&A is a bit similar, but not exactly the same. So what do you see as the biggest difference between DC and cloud? What is your preference and why? I think you can all answer that.
For me, for God's sake, as I said, if you're starting to implement Atlassian Go Cloud, at the moment, we have everything like in InBank or such, everything is set up already in a way, everything is working out, it's all the customization, whatsoever, automation. Then this is different. Your opinion about how you're running it, do you want to have separate instances? Do you want to have multi-node for whatever God knows reasons? Main reasons also for InBank was that we can restrict access to make the only accessible from the trusted hosts. So that is the thing that was the key point, why to move into AWS everything and not to keep it in a cloud and have the data moved quick and fast to the offsite or somewhere else. Yeah.
Well, you said it all. But basically, yeah, if you don't have really specific use cases, then do whatever you want, actually. Yeah. Of course, cloud is easier on the side that we already discussed, but there are some small features definitely that are missing on one platform and are available on another. But these are all kind of like really minor details. But if you're just following the mainstream, then probably it's also they're available.
Yeah. Also, one of the things I hope to make to leave it as a last sentence, but now I have to say that. Do you know what is the best horror joke in the world? Please be prepared for the new exciting Jira experience. So if you're not in a cloud, then you don't have it.
Yeah, why not hybrid? So yeah, if you have like sensitive data, have your DC instance for that and
connect them with your
connect
cloud.
them with a plugin of certain type, and you have it synchronized. And then you have a crowd-facing cloud site for your, I don't know, external customers, and you are okay.
But as Matti mentioned, we plan to talk about trust. So next question is for Margus. Knowing a bit about your products and customers, it seems to me that they are usually companies who care a lot about data security and trust in general. What are the main things that your customers ask you about, that how secure your products are or the trust issues?
Yeah, trust is a good topic actually, and there are different customers asking different questions from us. But if you're just generally looking the overall kind of like how society is prepared with all the cyber hygiene and security, then you know that maybe 50% even don't know that there is such a thing, so they just don't care. They come, they have a need, they will get from your product the value. Then some maybe are just reading the badges and things and what you are doing. And then there's a small amount who just comes in and starts to ask to fill in all the paperwork and all the things. So overall, it's still that the market is not really, I would say, knowledgeable about the threats and things. There are those companies who are pushed to the limit, who has really kind of like eager, maybe IT or risk manager or somebody that is asking, ridiculous things. You don't want to, like, you open the security questionnaire and it's like 20 pages of different questions. Like, what? So there are different customers asking different things, but what we as a marketplace partner, we need to build trust. So, and Atlassian also tries to build that so that the customers wouldn't even ask anything like that. So the trust issue is something that if you are addressing it, you're preparing with that, then they won't ask anything really kind of what you're not prepared. But yeah, I now already forgot what you were asking in the beginning.
Let's just move to another question. So Atlassian Marketplace has this security and bug bounty programs. From marketplace listings, you can see which company is compliant with them, right? What does it say to the customer? If I go to the marketplace, should I look for a bug bounty or the cloud security?
You definitely need to look the badges, because it shows you at least whether the partner is lazy or not. Because there are specific requirements set up by Atlassian, so there are some hoops that you need to just jump through to get the badges. And if you don't even do that, so that means that you're really lazy. But it's definitely not giving actually any guarantees. Atlassian is, yes, establishing some rules, but it doesn't still show you or build the trust entirely. So actually I think the marketplace partners should address themselves also more, kind of like, and should invest more to get the different security certificates and things, because as on every marketplace, you can kind of like game the system a bit. So even with Atlassian, and when you have technology background also, then it for sure can find some loopholes even inside the Atlassian system. So we don't discuss these today, but there are. And yeah, the first sign is what I will give to this audience, that if there aren't any badges, then I don't know what the guys are doing there. So it's not so hard. Or if you're anyways following the best practices, even in coding, then you can easily apply and get most of the badges. If you don't, then...
Why?
Yeah, I would add actually, the only thing that I have to add is that first of all, welcome to Nobody Cares. That is actually the big factor. And the second thing is that in Estonian there's a proverb, it's sin to assume bad from people, but it's rarely wrong. So that concludes this one. And luckily, for example, I do have a green dots on my body when I'm going to search the apps and whatever they are promising to do, and then just when you're digging in what they are actually, then you're just holding your head and thinking, Jesus Christ, on a motorcycle, what is this thing they're doing? So, have you all heard about this plugin which was propagated in the GitHub and that caused the Linux meltdowns? And during the couple of last week, that made a vulnerable, if to use that library, then it made immediately vulnerable a huge percent of the Linux distributions. So this is exactly the same topic.
Now I have a question for Kaur. As you saw, like we have quite 50-50 data center and cloud users here. Was it the same like 5 years ago, or how has it changed?
Oh, apparently a lot. I mean, 5 years ago the cloud was existing, but it was called something like Atlassian On Demand or something. It was like a century ago in IT terms. So yeah, I mean, we have seen especially the small microcap customers, like let's say 25 users, 50 users, 100 users. So moving, especially after the end of life of server, it's much cheaper to stay on cloud with your 50 users than buy this minimum 500 user DC instance. So, but I would like to add something on top of this subject, like concerning data and backups. I don't know how many of you has read the white paper. Please raise your hand about backups in Atlassian Cloud. Yeah, nobody, me neither. But we partnered up with Haiku. Maybe you noticed the booth there in the corner earlier. So, and if you were wondering who are these guys and what they're doing, they're basically a shoulder under the Atlassian Cloud, the other shoulder. Otherwise it would be like this, but now it's straight, because they are providing backups. Because Atlassian actually doesn't do, like, they have a shared responsibility of your data backups. So Margo from Tartu city government can maybe shortly describe their use case. Do we have a microphone here?
Yes.
If you don't mind to share your story.
Hello, everybody. I'm Margo. So, yeah, as we presented, we had assets. Many of them we did in the first place. And one day I was really tired. I was like, okay, I need to delete this asset. I don't need it anymore. I was like, yep, this object type, let's go. It wasn't the object, it was the type. So
I have done that too.
Yeah. And it was in the evening, I was like, all the tickets to the Atlassian, call to the Kaur, everyone, I need everybody. I don't want to do this again. So, yeah, I waited for the answer, got it in a really few words. That, yeah, it's your data. We don't know anything about it. So if you want it, you can back up it. But there wasn't any solution for it at the time. So I found the first plugin that there was only one in the marketplace. And I did all the assets to there because they were really important for us. So yeah, you don't want to try it. Or if you try it in the first, just delete some of it, don't delete everything. And now we have Haiku. And it's a lot easier. Like, you don't have to, you want one issue, I can get it. I don't have to get all the backup out, all the backup in. And I really love the experience because you know what you want when you do the things you don't want. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
So yeah, basically, if you are on cloud, please be reminded that you are partly responsible for your own data. I think the next speaker, Mert, can maybe elaborate a bit more. If Atlassian now is doing backups, I think they are doing once in 48 hours, if I'm not mistaken. But to restore, it's still quite gray area.
Backing up is easy,
yeah.
but restoring.
So definitely,
nobody touches that topic.
If you want to restore by Confluence page, Jira ticket, Jira comment, or attachment level, then please talk to Haiku guys.
Because in cloud, yes, there are so many limits when you're restoring. You can't, basically. So, yeah.
So another topic, like not another topic, but a thing that is in Estonia. Like in January, the government approved requirements for the use of cloud services in the public sector. And our governmental IT houses will start to evaluate the biggest cloud services. And they will start, if I'm not mistaken, they will start with Microsoft and Atlassian. Which means that they will analyze the trustworthiness and approve them from public sector if they meet the requirements. What do you think, how this kind of governmental evaluation will change cloud usage in public sector?
Well, does anybody remembers, there was, I don't know, 8 years ago, 7 years ago, something like that. There was the initiative of the governmental cloud, where Estonian government wanted to build their own cloud somewhere. So actually, that is a huge step back to normality. About how does it affect? As far as I know, in the governmental sector, there are lots of silos. Like some of them are doing the one way, the other are doing the other way, and whatsoever. The main question is here: how can they consolidate together and say that, no, excuse my French, but we're gonna fuck up things now that way. So that is the main thing. Being in a cloud, yeah, sure. Vendor locking, that is best practice in the government sector. Yay, let's go. But they are already vendor locked anyway, so what's the difference?
Yeah, I mean, there is only maybe a point of licensing and architectural side. If you would have, in theory, one big enterprise license and you could have, I think, up to 150 sites under it, then maybe it would make sense to consolidate under one roof, but it's not up to me to decide. There is many architectural details which must be sorted out before, so I'm looking forward to this conversation with the architects of the governmental cloud.
Do you know how many the general architects Estonian government has at the moment?
I don't have an idea, actually.
One.
Mm-hmm. Also, maybe one aspect is how do you imagine using just plain Jira or plain Confluence without any apps? If they are approving, let's say, Atlassian Cloud, how do you kind of manage the whole marketplace and the app thing there? Because I know that, we have been preparing our apps to meet all those different regulations, like the data residency and all these things, but most of the apps, they are not kind of maybe doing anything for that. So eventually, yes, let's say we approve Jira in cloud, everybody goes that way, and then you realize that, okay, I don't have this app, I don't the other app, I can't use the other one, and so on, and then everybody's back in last century, whatever it was.
We have some new questions in the Elisa stage, so I can read some of them. Have you explored any integrations or add-ons with Jira that have enhanced its capabilities for your team? Yes. Yes.
Maybe.
What is the capability? Actually, the purpose of the plugin should be actually it needs to be good for something. You can't have something nice to have, or as a great philosopher Mick Jagger once told, you can't always get what you want. So about the plugins, for example, the best plugin, we were the most popular persons in the whole organization were when we set up the dark theme plugin. Yay! Everybody brought us cake, virtually. So that supposedly, I don't know, they are everyone who's using the black theme are maniacs. So, but yeah, let it be. What I find is that everything that makes the outcome of the work more clear, more structured, easily understandable, easily being able to index them and integrate into the other components, then everything these are good. And this is for everybody, makes the life easier, growing productivity and making people happy. So I wouldn't bring out like specific ones. But yet again, you can't fulfill the whole wish list. You can't be popular to everybody. Someone you have to say no, and no is the best answer.
Next question is, are there any specific areas or functionalities within Jira that you hope to see improved or expanded upon in the future?
Everything can be improved always.
The list is long,
Yeah,
You can always
but it's
improve.
gathering interest somewhere.
yes, there's this Atlassian's public roadmap where you can see everything what you actually need. It's still gathering interest, and then it's like, okay, let's wait.
Yeah, I guess that one thing, let's forget the main reason why Atlassian prices are growing every year exponentially, because of AI, most likely. But you never can automate enough. So that is the thing which is actually what helps to increase, to make it everything much better. And of course, here your team is helping us to create lots of plugins, lots of help tools, whatsoever. So this is the thing which can always be improving.
Well, it's kind of like complementary what you already said. Yes, our team is trying to give additional value in risk management, document management. But then there's also Atlassian who runs in their own track. And then they are kind of like, the platform changes. That's how the life is. And then you need to adapt with that. So every time, it's not always a success that we can deliver a value. Sometimes there's a one step back, and then in the long run, it's 3 steps ahead. So if you are kind of like evaluating some apps, then yeah, it would be really honest if you're looking the whole big picture. Sometimes it is as it is, because Atlassian has also some long-term kind of like goals, why they are changing technologies, why they are kind of like making things maybe not so good today, but tomorrow it's already better. So I don't also believe that somebody is kind of like building purposely bad things. So everything has a meaning.
Yeah, as I say, it's like sometimes things are not going as they're supposed to be. So we were migrating everything to AWS, everything was shiny, running on the latest LTS whatsoever, everything was shiny, and then there was a couple of bugs. And they said, like, already we're gonna fix them in the next generation version. Then I was saying, yay, it's good, let's make an upgrade. And then we made an upgrade, and next day it turned out that everything is broken. And then this is my cock-up, because I didn't just noticed that the version that came out is the first version, and this is not the LTS. Mm-hmm. So, and then we had to roll back. Rolling back made some things broken again, but at least these features were there. So, yeah.
There was one more Q&A question. It was about AI. Let me just open it. You just mentioned AI, so I just want to...
Who hasn't yet used AI in cloud service management, definitely use it. It's so, it adds so much value when you just want to say politely something, but you're in a bad mood. You just write and ask AI to make it look nice.
But you mean like Atlassian Intelligence or ChatGPT? You mean
Atlassian Intelligence.
Yeah, so you don't have to switch to ChatGPT.
No, you just say that please be more professional or please be more educational, and it does the work magically. I use it every day in my support email, because like any other developer, of course you're thinking like from customers like, oh, how can't you understand that? Okay, I need to look at the mirror as well, but then there's the Atlassian AI that tells them nicely, like, please do it somehow differently.
Have you tried it in Estonian language?
Not really, actually.
Me neither. I think not like in this use case. But I tried to create a automation in Estonian, and it kind of did something.
No, there should be some sort of kind of like condition or validator in the workflow in support portals, at least, that somebody should ask, like, has AI kind of like reviewed the tone of your answer?
But the question itself was like this. Could someone provide insight on any new AI features or development, as there has been a little talk about AI capabilities? Just to say in between that the next speaker is from Atlassian. Maybe his topic will explain a bit about this. But if you guys have anything to add on this. Also waiting for the...
Let's see.
Yeah. Okay. So do any of you know any cases where someone moved back to DC?
How many times did you move?
No, we
forth?
moved twice from cloud to DC.
So now everybody knows.
But I mean, we merged two companies. But actually, we have been moving DC, one solution to another. So that is not actually the one. So AWS is a cloud. So this is like cloud in.
But the customers do move in both directions. So
Yeah.
we've seen it also, like from cloud to DC, DC to cloud. So it depends, again, on the use cases, regulations, everything.
Yeah.
So there might be a need.
Since we don't have much time left, I will take one more question from the Q&A section. Can you share a success story migrating server to cloud or cloud to server, and lessons learned in terms of organizational change management and TCO costs?
Well, I think Margo elaborated it a few hours before, when they had the presentation. I think it was, as you said, 0 to 100, or in your case, I mean, it was. So yeah, long story short, if you can go to cloud by regulatory means, yes, probably you should. If you have like life mission critical systems, if you are guarding the border or controlling the life support systems with cloud, probably not, because it has some issues sometimes and it has outages sometimes, as all the cloud services do by architecture. So make sure that you have A, backups, B, like redundancy plan if the cloud service is not accessible, what happens? And that's it. I mean, if you say that you need close to 100% uptime, then yeah, multi-cluster on-prem is good for you.
Yeah.
If anyone has any more questions, can they find you during the after party or from LinkedIn?
I'm unfortunately not participating today after party, but as I see, the LinkedIn, which I'm not using at all, was on the roll. I have never seen so many people clicking on my profile. So I'm honored, I'm humble. Yeah, you can find me everywhere where my contacts were. So yeah, but as I said, thank you, Atlassian. Thank you. And please grow and please get better. And then we can get better, and then the whole world can get better, and so forth, so forth.
Yeah. I think anybody can get all of our contacts always.
Just ask us, we will send contacts.
From TVN, so that's...
Or Google our names, probably you will reach us by second click.
If you just don't even remember our names, then yeah. Atlassian, you should still
Send
remember.
me all the guys who were there on the panel, all the guys details.
And if you want to ask me to the lunch, then I eat meat and drink red wine.
Excellent. But thank you guys so much.
Thank you.
Aitäh.
Jäi,
Thank you,
Natasja.
Anda.